Apparently, corporate has canceled the neutral ground. We're going to have a fefew hours of Love Boat reruns. Oh, boy. Actually, that's not true. Boy, that Love Boat theme takes me back to my childhood. What was it, Saturday night ABC, Fantasy Island at 9, Love Boat at 8, something like that. It was like we lived in Britain back then. There were only a few channels to choose from. Thank you, Mr. Drew Brees. Corey Johnson with you. You are, in fact, on the neutral ground. We got a good one lined up for you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program. Yeah, you, right. Hey, let's head to Claiborne and Leonidas. Ghassan Korban joins us from the Sewage and Water Board. Some inclement weather rolling in a few hours. Ghassan, always a pleasure.
Same here. Good afternoon, Corey. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you very much for the time. How are things looking over at the Sewage and Water Board? It seems like a lot of progress has been made under your watch recently, and always a concern when weather's rolling in like tonight, but you guys seem to have a better handle on it than what we're used to here in New Orleans.
Well, we're feeling good. Obviously, we're as prepared as can be. We do a couple things in preparation for a storm like this one, with high winds being a concern, where we switch our power to our turbines at Curtin away from Entergy, because we believe the system is a little bit more vulnerable to wind conditions than our turbines. And by doing so, obviously, we would have reliable power during the event and less likely of having any interrupted service to either drinking water pumping or drainage pumping. So we're standing ready today, and we're feeling good about where we are. We have plenty of power, and we have 95 of the 99 pumps that are available to be operational and ready to serve us as we need it.
So essentially, you've switched power from Entergy to your own turbines to maybe minimize interruptions.
Absolutely. The turbines are less vulnerable to wind conditions that we are expecting. You know, obviously the Entergy system with the poles and wires, we tend to have a little bit more issues during those events. So we're proactively, and lessons learned from many experiences before that allowed us to switch to our turbines.
Fantastic. And enough power and pumps for this upcoming event.
Absolutely. We've been, in 2022, we've had more power at any given day than any peak need. So this has not changed, and it's continued to improve. And obviously, the big picture is relying on the substation that we're building and modernizing our turbines. So we have two modern systems that will be 100% more reliable and durable than what we have today. So,
real quick, that Monticello at Claiborne, right by the parish line, I see a lot of construction going on there. How long until that facility is fully up and running?
I presume you're talking about the new substation project.
Yes.
West of our complex. So that's the power complex that started a couple months ago. What you're seeing is the actual substation that the power company is building on our land to become the primary source that will be bringing in excess of 60 megawatts of power. And then we are aligning next to it is two modern turbines that would stand up in an emergency situation in case Entergy lost power to their substation. So that's about a year and a half out for being usable for us. So let's say by the end of 2024, we're going to have a brand new modern power system serving about 50 or so of our pumps in the city.
Ghassan, I know you're busy and you got to go. One final question kind of off this subject. I noticed Claiborne Avenue in front of the facility has been reopened, and you guys are even crunching the temporary road on the neutral ground.
Absolutely. So that represents the completion of a very major project for us, the Claiborne pump station, which houses 4 drinking water stations that have been fully refurbished. And we as a matter of fact, added a new feature to those pumps that have variable speed. Should one go out, the other 3 can adjust the amount of water they can produce to adjust for the loss of the 4th one. So a great accomplishment for my team to get that done, and which makes the availability of drinking water being produced and pushed into the system much more reliably.
Ghassan, I really appreciate the time on, when you're having a ridiculously busy day. Thank you so much. And I look forward to having you on in the future when we can talk a little bit more under, more relaxed conditions about the progress of the Sewage and Water Board.
Absolutely. I would love the opportunity. Thank you so much.
A pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks so much. That's Ghassan Korban from the Sewage and Water Board. I am hypercritical of the mayor, and I think very fair about it. She deserves exactly what she gets. But a few things that she has done correctly, Ghassan Korban's one of them. This guy came from Milwaukee, and has been in this business for about 30 years. Public service, specifically water and that type of stuff for a metropolitan area. The previous Sewage and Water Board director was this anointed, appointed political hack who has a blank resume that has just been, inserting his head up the rear end of mayors and significant politicians in New Orleans for decades. He's retired now, thank God. He pulls $180,000 a year in retirement, has earned none of it. And I'm talking about, I'm going blank on this guy's name now. What was his name? That's crazy. Cedric Grant. I remember riding my bike down the Lafitte Greenway, and that pool, that public pool, it's really nice, a few blocks from Claiborne's on the Lafitte Greenway. There's a plaque, Memorial Administration, this pool's dedicated 1991, Cedric Grant on there, like head of administration. This guy's like John Hilario's son, one of his sons that hops from state commission to state commission. He's been on like 4 or 5 of them with no expertise on any of those boards or commissions he was a part of, just earning a 6-figure salary because daddy set him up. Nice job being a father, just setting up one son that way and another as a riverboat pilot. Try having them earn their job and actually earn it and work for their money. Anyway, Hilario, that hack is a whole other story. But Cedric Grant is that type of jerk, that type of loser that has hopped from appointed, anointed position in city government to another appointed, anointed job in city government. No expertise, nothing ever done, just a political hack, had no idea what he was doing at the Sewage and Water Board. No, I give LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell credit. She could have easily put in some anointed, appointed Cedric Grant type jerk, type loser, type nobody, someone that isn't qualified to do anything. Instead, she went out, scoured the country, and brought in Ghassan Korban from Milwaukee, a guy that this is his field. This is what he does. So, no, I got to give credit where credit's due on that appointment by LaToya, the Destroyer Cantrell. Actually an expert, someone that's capable of doing the job at the Sewage and Water Board. And that's refreshing. So credit, where credit is due. Man, I am really fired up. This guy, I almost hate to say former Final Four coach, a couple of Final Fours, a few Elite Eights, because he's much more than that. He's a humanitarian, just a real great man that talks the talk and walks the walk. He's real, he's genuine, and he backs up what he says all the time by his actions. Dale Brown, former LSU head basketball coach, as most of us know him. Dale Brown, who was recently honored with Dale Brown Court at the PMAC. He's going to join us next. We'll talk some hoops, and we'll talk a lot more stuff with the great Dale Brown joining us live from Tiger Town, Baton Rouge. Hey, speaking of BR, you can check us out there. 600 AM on the radio, Cox Channel 4 television, all over Baton Rouge. Also, CoreyTalks.com, live streaming. You can check that out anywhere. We're on YouTube right now. Boy, last week we had a all-time high of 81, record high. Now we've got rain and more cold weather. River City's Total Maintenance. If you need air conditioning or heat help, River City's Total Maintenance. Honest air conditioning and heating experts that come right now. Find them at NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore and Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When you think of Fury's Restaurant in Metairie, you think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com. Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, no cool side. NOLAAC.com, no cool side.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you. Dale Brown's going to join us in a couple of minutes. Tomorrow, New Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams will join us. Yeah, Ghassan Korban just joined us from the Sewage and Water Board to start the program. I think around 8 o'clock tonight or so, right in the middle of the Pels game, expecting some inclement weather to roll in. It's a fast-moving storm. It's supposed to hit more of the North Shore than the South Shore, according to those meteorologists. But it could be some really severe weather for a little while. Maybe sometime in between 8 and midnight-ish. But tomorrow is supposed to be a really nice day after this storm blows in. Cooler temperatures. But tomorrow morning, it should be decent. And then by lunchtime, it should be really sunny and nice. Pretty much tomorrow through Saturday, you can wake up every morning on the South Shore and temperatures will be in the 40s. That means you North Shore folks could see some high 30s over the next 3 or 4 days straight through Saturday. And we'll probably get, I don't know, somewhere around 55-ish as the high over those few days. So rain rolling in, could be severe, and then pretty good weather for the next few days. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you. Hey, why aren't you at Katie's right now? A great wind down the day spot, a fantastic place to get lunch or dinner. They're open throughout the day, 7 days a week. Really tough to beat Katie's. So good. As New Orleans as it gets. The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. So many folks copycatting what Katie's has been doing for about 40 years now. Iberville, corner Tallahassee, like I said, the heart of Mid-City. In between Bienville and Canal Street. In between Carrollton and Doc Francis Parkway. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? So good. Speaking of so good, just really love this guy because when I was a student at LSU, 85 to 91, my freshman year, Dale Brown brought the Tigers to the Final Four. When they came back to Ryan Airport up in Scotlandville, I went to greet him, and I remember walking up to Dale Brown and asking him some questions. He gave me like 5 minutes of his time and was sincere and was real. And I'm sure unconsciously it gave me confidence to get into this business. But consciously, that night and for a few days, I was just glowing because I'm some 19-year-old kid, and this accomplished adult man legitimately gave me his time coming off the plane after a Final Four trip. It was incredible. I'll never, ever forget it. That's why I'm telling you right now. Dale Brown joins us live from Baton Rouge. How you doing, Coach?
Well, you are so kind, and I thank you much. And I have to tell you a quick story before you ask me any questions. What you just said reminds me of John Wooden. And all I can say to you is thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate what you said. We were sitting in TJ Ribs with the owner and John Wooden having lunch. And there's a young man, I would say about 40 years old, standing over the side in a blue sport coat. I can see him looking at Coach Wooden. And just as our Ribs came, he came over and said, "Excuse me, Coach Wooden." He said, "I don't want to shake your hand. I don't want to take a picture with you." He said, "I don't want an autograph. All I want to tell you, you're one of God's angels." And he says, "God bless you." And he started to walk off. And Coach Wooden put down his ribs. He said, young man, come back." He said, "What's your name?" And he told him, and he said, "You've just made an old man feel real good." But he said, "I wouldn't want you to leave here under false pretenses of who I really am." He says, I'm not who I could be. I'm not who I should be, but I'm sure glad I'm not what I used to be. But you've stimulated me to be a better man. And watching his sincerity, I had two good teachers. My mother was the same way. She just loved people and treated them. She didn't get treated real well by welfare workers and landladies and et cetera, but she was just kind. And 40 years as being mentored by John Wooden, I hope I can steal 1% of his modesty.
You've stolen about 99%, or it was already in you, Coach, from Minot.
Well, from Minot, North Dakota. Now, I've got a question to ask you.
Yep.
What percentage of people, and this is a nebulous question, obviously, what percent of people pronounce your name correctly and spell it correctly?
Spell it 0, pronounce it 1 in my entire life. I was getting a driver's license and the lady said, Corey Johnson. And I walked up and I said, how did you get Corey out of that? She goes, what else would it be? And I said, you're the only person that's ever done it and no one's done it since. So it is Scandinavian. My brother's Bjorn, B-J-O-R-N. My father grew up in Mid-City. He wanted to go to Europe. He went down to the docks, went on a ship, worked the boat to get to Europe. Tooled around Europe for a few months on a scooter, got back on another ship working, and there were 2 Scandinavian guys, Corey and Bjorn, who were World War II heroes. They paratrooped into Germany, spied, got captured, escaped from the prison they were in, skydived again in there, spied, got caught a second time, escaped from the prison they were in. My dad loved the story, so he named one of my older brothers, Bjorn, and I was named Corey after these 2 guys.
Now, when you say Scandinavian, is that going to be Norwegian?
I think Bjorn is, but I think or Swedish, and Corey I think is Danish, Denmark, I guess. So.
I guess you got business cards in when you were dating in college. You passed out the business cards so you could get the correct, so the girls would know who you were, right?
Well, my biggest mistake, Coach, I should have put the umlaut over one of those A's. I think that would have drawn in the women a little better. What do you think? Hey, Coach, I'm going to butcher Wooden's quote, but he was so humble. But I love the quote, and I'm butchering it. You know, when you win and you're the champion, you're getting undue praise. When you're losing and you're down at the bottom, you're getting undue criticism. He really was level, wasn't he?
Yeah, he there was nothing fake about him. In fact, the new basketball coach at LSU, Matt McMahon.
Yep.
He really has. He came to the house for 2 hours after the week he was here, and he reminded me so much of John Wooden. He has no vanity. He's sensitive. He's smart. He's got a good sense of humor, and he is a doggone good coach. He just hasn't had time to get a team together.
Yep.
And he's just a good guy and a good sense of humor. He said to me, you know, I was a gigantic fan of Chris Jackson. He said, I just loved him. And he said, I saw LSU was playing at Tennessee in Knoxville. And boy, he said, I'm driving over there. I don't care if there's a blizzard or what. I've got to see my hero. And he said, I went over there, but he said, Chris really disappointed me. And I said, he did? Why? He said, he only scored 49 points.
I want to talk about Chris in a second because he was like the modern day Pistol Pete from my era, just a phenom, and it was an incredible 2 years. Hey, Coach, a lot of folks have told me, and not recently, but I've always been a Dale Brown fan, and earlier in my professional career, some adults, even a few folks calling the show would be like, man, I think Dale's sort of full of it. He's always optimistic, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, if he's full of it, I get a Christmas card from him. I get the pyramid sent, the wooden pyramid card sent from him to my door. You know, when it was mail, now you email me a lot and have in the past. I'm like, if he's fake, he sure spends a lot of time being fake. So, you know, it proof's in the pudding. You talk the talk and you walk the walk.
You know, it's kind of a sad commentary, not about me, but about society. Let me give you a paramount example of what you just said. A perfect analogy is this. There were a lot of people that knew I was very close to John Wooden, very close. And they would say to me, like if I was at the Final Four or wherever I was, they'd, you know, is Coach Wooden, is he really what he perceived to be? And I said, why do you say that? Well, he's just too good to be real. I said, that's really a sad commentary about society. We aren't able to judge who the good people are because there's so few people like John Wooden, that when there is somebody like him, you're trying to make him out as a phony politician or counterfeit. I said, and then they said the same thing about one of my assistants who wound up being in the College Basketball Hall of Fame as a coach, Homer Drew. He's too nice. He's this. So it's kind of a sad commentary on our society.
Yeah, I think as humans, it's easy to be mean or to yell at someone. Maybe a little harder to be thank you and please and nice. And I think being cynical and jaded, glass half full, that's easy. Being positive, and maybe that's just a little bit of work. And
that's right.
I think people settle too often and want to be cynical and jaded. And I don't know, maybe an insecurity, put somebody down, makes them feel better. I don't know. I try to be more half full and positive. And it's tough sometimes in New Orleans and Louisiana, Coach.
How many years have you been on the air now?
About 30.
So, wow. So you are the veteran.
I guess now I still think of myself as fledgling and just getting going. And I try to take that mentality every day. You know, today my best, tomorrow better.
Close to you.
I'm sorry. What's that?
I can't think of anybody that would be close to you.
Well,
30 years.
I love that, Coach. I love that. No, like I said, today my best, tomorrow better. That's kind of what I try to do. Hey, Coach, I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll come right back and jump into all this, all right?
Okay.
Legendary Dale Brown is with us on the program. Doesn't get better than that.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and were maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
Dale Brown joins us on the program. Boy, Coach, lawsuit abuse, insurance abuse. It seems like in Louisiana, we embrace that kind of stuff. How'd you like to be a lawyer? You buy a billboard and your competitor is on the same billboard pole right below your sign. It's kind of obnoxious, isn't it?
Oh, man.
I'm not trying to be cynical or jaded, but boy, we could use some Dale Brown in political office. Have you ever thought about that? Or you're like, I don't want to get into that jungle?
Well, that's a long story, and I'll try to make it as short as possible. North Dakota wanted me to come back and run for a U.S. Senator. And they pretty well said I was going to win it by the straw polls they were doing, and et cetera. And would I be interested? And I said, not really. They said, well, why don't you come back and let's talk. So I went back and I thought, you know what? I don't want to just retire and do nothing. I want to do good to maybe help people, and no longer in coaching. Am I going to head up the Salvation Army or what? So I went to Washington, D.C. And when I got there, two things hit me within the first 2 days. I was supposed to be there like 3-4 days. I came home the third day. Number one, the head of the I told him I don't belong to any party. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a libertarian. I vote for who I think who would be the best. So I don't belong to a party. So the head of the Republican Party, he was a big basketball fan. And when I went in his office, man, he had all kinds of sports pictures up, and he had photographers in there taking pictures. So we sat down, and he said, you know, Coach, he said, we're going to back you 100%. We're going to give you all the finances you need. But he said, you know, you're going to have to be, he said, you're a little too candid. He said, you're going to have to kind of fall into line with us. And then I said, hold on. I have to be what? He said, well, you have to be more of a team player. He said, you always speak, he said, too bluntly. And I said, hey, I think I should just forget about it. So I called my wife, went back to the room, and I said, I think I'm coming home. I said, so I told her what happened. So that after I got done, she said, stick it out. After I got done, the next day, a head of the Louisiana PAC had called me, and I had never met the man. His name slips my mind. And he said that the head of the National PAC would like to take you to the Capitol Hill Club. Now, I had no idea what the Capitol Hill Club was. It was the hangout for the senators and congressmen and et cetera, and money people. So he said, they'd like to take you to dinner tomorrow night. He said, that would really do me a big favor. I said, well, I'm not too hip on dinner, but I will meet him. So I finally find the place, go there, and the guy ahead of it, sitting there smoking a big cigar. You know, Coach Brown, he said, we'll put up, I think it was $4 or $5 million. We're going to put up $4 or $5 million right away for your campaign. But he said, you know what you got to do? The guy you're running against, he said, he's married, got 2 kids. He's got some kids, and he said he's running around with his secretary having an affair, and you got to cut and slash and burn him. And I stood up and I stop. Y'all got the wrong guy. I said, I won't even talk about the opponent. I said, the people I I represent. I'm going to talk about them. He said, well, I think you misunderstood me. I said, that's really funny. In my life, every time somebody thinks, I think you misunderstood me, they say to me, that's a dang sign I didn't misunderstand you. I said, thank you, and I left. And I came home the next day. So that ended my career.
I remember being 19, very disillusioned. I got a job at the Senate as an intern, and then in the next year I was a sergeant in arms. The next year I was an assistant aide to a senator. And I remember going there at 19, and within a few days was like, I thought these are supposed to be special people. They're supposed to be highly educated and difference makers. And I just saw a bunch of men like in a fraternity. Several were, hooking up with lobbyists, cheating on their wives, not a lot getting done. I was like, this is why Louisiana's the way it is. It all came very clear to me, Coach.
Booker T. Washington, one of the great educators of all time, said, the role of most leaders should get the people to think more of themselves instead of the leader. And I've seen good people, nice people, when they get there, and I certainly don't want to indict the whole group because there's certainly, and I'm not some angelic angel walking the earth, but most of the people, I've seen good people let the system change them. Well, I got to hold on to this. And I think if there's an answer, now there's no pill, prayer, prescription, or magic wand to wave, but if there's an answer, it's got to come in term limits. That's all there is to it.
No, I agree. Even the Supreme Court justice is like 18 years or something for them, not this lifetime gimmick. Hey, Coach, you may not be an angel that's walked the earth, but boy, you walked a lot of it. How many countries have you visited? It's amazing.
90. And let me tell you how that happened.
Wow.
I used to go sit out on the fire escape. We lived in a one-room apartment above a bar and a hardware store. This is not a sob story. My biological father abandoned my mother and I 2 days before I was born. Never came back. Never gave us any money, never did anything. She came off a farm, had to become a maid and babysit and get on welfare for $42.50 a month. And the only place to really go alone was sitting on the fire escape. So for people that are listening to this and grew up like this, I used to daydream about stuff. North Dakota, I'd never been out of Minot, the little old town of Minot at 20,000 near the Canadian border. And I thought, I want to travel all over the world. How am I going to travel? I don't own a bicycle. We don't own a car. And number two, North Dakota is as flat as the top of a desktop. I want to climb the highest mountains in the world. Now, that sounds delusional for a child 10 or 11 years old sitting on the back steps in a fire escape. The French call it idée fixe. Whatever you fix in your mind and you work on and make it happen, not wish it. Everybody wishes they were smarter, wishes they were richer, wishes they had a better job. Wishing is like belly buttons. Everybody's got one. You have to will it.
Yep.
And in that time, from doing nothing, just willing it, and it attracts you, I was able to do it. And I'm really, 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 really feel blessed. And then to become the head coach at LSU, I remember when I'd send references out and they'd ask me, who, or send letters out to inquire about you. Well, who's your references? I say, is it okay if I get the janitor at the school? I didn't have any references. So no matter how down you are and out, you don't have to change who you are. And that all started, if I may, not trying to dominate this conversation because...
Please.
But
go ahead.
My mother, I'd always wait up for her when she would go babysit. And this one night she came home and took her coat off in the middle of the winter, 30 below zero, and made us cocoa and cinnamon toast, which was a big deal for us. And she said, son, I'm really embarrassed to tell you this. But she said, I don't want you to do the same thing I do. She said, I'm so embarrassed that when these big shots come and pick me up, they're going to ask, oh, what's your husband do? And I don't want to say he left us. Well, where did you go to college? She said, I'm embarrassed to say, well, I didn't go. I was just at an 8th grade education. So what I do, son, and I don't ever want you to do this, She said, I go right on I look in the dictionary and I look up big words. I study them and I write them on a 3x5 card. So when I get in the car, I have that in my hand and I can kind of control the conversation. And she said, son, don't do that. She said, I'm trying to make an image. And she said, son, if you spend too much time polishing your image, you'll eventually tarnish your character. So you just say what's in your heart and not what's in your head. And she said, don't ever do that. Now, if she'd had a 9th grade education, she'd have told me sometimes maybe you remain silent, which I never have.
Dale Brown's visiting with us on the program. I want to get into some LSU and some hoops talk, but let me ask you this, Coach. How do we as citizens, as people, stop this polarizing political situation? Neither side willing to work with the other, extremists in control, hardcore left, hardcore right. How do we work together and move the country forward?
Well, it starts out, first of all, part of the reason we're in the dilemma we're in right now. Dr. Harry Edwards has been a longtime friend of mine. Years ago, we were together, and he was telling me about silence has always been evil's greatest ally. And I think that's it. We talk about it, but we don't do anything about it. And what really came to my mind, my wife and I were visiting Europe in the summer, and we decided to go to Auschwitz. And we went through the whole museum, and it was so bad. I was angry. I was crying. I was frustrated. I said, well, I got to go outside. I said, oh, you're so impatient. Let's finish it. I said, I'll wait for you outside. I can't take any more of this, the ugliness of it. So I walked outside, and it was a beautiful, beautiful summer day. I walked down a little gravel little road, a little pathway, not a road. And I leaned up against a pole, and I thought, how in the world can people do this to people? Cremate, murder over 1.5 million people, do these atrocities. And I felt something on the pole, and I looked up, and there was a plaque attached, and it said the following: the road to Auschwitz was built by hatred, but it was paved with indifference and apathy. And until we speak up and not remain silent, I think that's part of our problem. We just don't. We talk about it, but we don't do anything about it.
Right.
And I think that until that's done, talk is cheap. So famous historian Arnold Toynbee said, all great civilizations cease. It's because they do not demand excellence and commit suicide themselves. And boy, there's so much truth in that.
Yep.
And not that we've all got flaws. I think Edgar Guest, not Edgar Guest. Oscar Wilde, the great Irish poet. There's 8 billion of us walking on Earth right now. And he described all 8 billion of us pretty well when he said, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. But we have to act. We have to. Talk is cheap. Oh, the guy's a terrible pup. The guy's a terrible coach. He's this, she's that. But don't do anything about it. And apathy has always been evil's greatest ally.
Yeah. Mardi Gras, hunting and fishing season, 3 for 1 at the bar in New Orleans and Louisiana. As long as those are a go, everyone seems happy. Yeah, apathy is a problem here. We're visiting with Dale Brown. Another quick break. Coming right back with more. Don't move.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring, and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan. Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Gail Brown's with us. Hey, Coach, Kent Lowe still around from your era, and Bob Starkey's sitting on the bench with Kim Mulkey. You brought him in decades ago.
Yep, I saw that. Bob's a very good coach and a good person. Kent Lowe, I believe. Now, I'm not sure this is positive, Corey, so don't hold me true. But I think he's trying to outlive Methuselah, who lived to be 969.
Yeah, he doesn't stop either.
And he hasn't changed a lot.
Nope.
He's good old Kent. He just loves everybody.
Yep, and he's very solid. How about Kim Mulkey? I'm scared of her, Coach. She is a fierce competitor and a winner, huh?
I've only met her on a couple occasions. My grandson was the graduate assistant at Baylor when she was there, and he said she treated him real nice. But she is competitive, and again, John Wooden. She followed. I don't know if she ever met John Wooden, but after 1972, when I went to visit with him for those 4 days, he walked me out to the car, and he said, "Listen, I'm really glad you came." He said, "And but I could have told you on the telephone, if you want to win big in college," he said, "here's what you got to do." Well, I didn't want to be rude and take my notepad out and start writing again. He said, "Here's what you must do, Dale. Listen to this carefully." He said, "In order to win big," he said, "you must have better players than the teams you're playing. And those better players must always put the team above themselves, or they aren't better players. And 3, he said, don't try to be some coaching genius or guru. Practice simplicity with constant repetition." And the 2 places she's been, Baylor, she had the great talent. She got great talent here. So I don't know if she ever met John Wooden, but she's sure following his advice.
Hey, Coach, you had some incredible players. John Williams, Stanley Roberts, Shaquille O'Neal, Dwayne Scales, Rudy Macklin, Chris Jackson, I got to think is the best player, just pure basketball player you ever coached. He was an incredible phenom.
Chris Jackson was Steph Curry before Steph Curry was Steph Curry.
Yep.
And he's as nice a person as you possibly can meet. And how he was treated by the NBA is almost sinful. And I remember the very first press conference, Kent Lowe told me that the media wants to talk to, he was a freshman, and he scored 13 points right away and had 11 assists or something. The media wants to talk to Chris Jackson. So we go to the press conference, and they said, well, Chris, whoever had asked it, you must really be happy. Here's first game out, and you wind up with 13 points and 13 assists, whatever it was. You must really be happy about that. And very humbly, he said, oh, I'm just elated. So when we walked back to the dressing room, I put my arm around him. I said, don't you ever say that again in a press conference. Did I say something wrong? I said, no, but listen, Chris, let me tell you how good you are. I said, you are so good. You're the first player I ever said this to. You're so unselfish. You're so quick. You're such a great shooter. I said, if you want to break away from the offense, you do it. And don't look over the bench if you miss a shot. And I'm promising you, you'll be one of the leading scorers in the country. I didn't say he would be the leading scorer in the history of the country as a freshman.
Yep.
So then I met with the senior captain, Rick E. Blanton, who also was a superstar because he got everything he got out of himself. And I told him the same thing. I said, now, I'll tell you what I told Chris, and I'm going to tell you this. You're a senior. You want to play in the NBA. You two, and I wasn't trying to be some Nostradamus or something. I said, you two could be two of the top leading scorers in the country. Together, Chris averaged 30.2 points a game, and he averaged like 21. They were the two leading scorers in the country because he gave himself up to the team. And he is truly one of the most gentle, nicest human beings I've ever met in my life.
The baseline shot going out of bounds against Vanderbilt, the three-pointer at Tad Smith. I was there on, I think, a Wednesday night up in Oxford that down by 4. He jacks in the 3, gets fouled, makes the free throw to force overtime. He had 55, I think, or 53. Gerald Glass had 51 or 52, something like that.
Dang, that was in Florida, wasn't it, when he got 55?
Well, Florida had 53. 3 guys fouled out, and the other guy had 4 fouls.
Shoot, Corey with a K. You got a good memory.
Oh, I mean, I was there. I lived it, and I was there and lived it, watching you. And Chris Jackson was just incredible, like a force of nature that just blew through Baton Rouge for a couple of seasons.
And really had no ego whatsoever, none. I mean, he just never had a problem. He just a good human being.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you why I remember the Chris Jackson thing. Fred's had this special. They didn't know that this Florida game was like the 5th game that year. It was weird. It was in November, I think.
Yep, yes, it was.
It was strange. It wasn't after the new year like the usual SEC season. And Fred's had a special. If Chris Jackson scores over, 30, a beer is $1. If it's over 20, a beer is $1. Over 30, it's 75 cents. Over 40, it's 50 cents. And if he does over 50, it's a quarter. And he scored 53 at Florida. And I remember getting a beer. I put $1 up and got 4 beers. And I asked Mark, the owner, he said, the beers cost us 42 cents. We're going to have to adjust this special. We didn't realize Chris Jackson could do it.
Was it 53 or 55 points?
Yeah, I want to say 53 at Florida.
Yeah,
maybe it was 55.
You know better than me.
I'm just guessing. I'm from memory. I think it was 55 at Ole Miss, and Gerald Glass had 53 in that game.
That's right. You're correct.
I mean,
you
Coach.
win again, you rascal. You're putting me down here, but that's good.
Oh, please, Coach. This 40 minutes went by like it was 4 minutes. I mean,
we've been 40 minutes.
Yeah. I wanted to talk
sure?
Bo Kimball, Hank Gathers, Loyola Marymount, that insane game where you're like, we're going to run with them. They run. We're going to run with them. You had 6 guys or 7 guys in double figures. Those were just incredible times. Bringing Duke to the PMAC. The record crowds at the Dome.
66,000 for the Georgetown game.
Blanton with the layup at the buzzer. That's just great stuff, Coach. Hey, Dale, let's do it again in a month or so, because I got on about 10 or 20% of the questions I wanted to talk to you about.
Well, be more than welcome. And what you ever do, you're not calling me for advice, but continue to be candid. There are so many people that aren't candid, and there's so much fake stuff going on. Just continue. The Edgar Guest said it real well, one of my favorite poets. I'd rather see a lesson than to hear one any day. I'd rather you walk with me than to merely show the way. The eye's a better teacher and more willing than the ear. And the counsel you are giving may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my examples by observing what you do. I admire your candor. Keep it up. Corey with the K.
I won't change, Coach, and I appreciate the time where I came up to Baton Rouge. You were nice enough to have lunch with me. I was asking you about some advice, and you gave me great advice.
That's been, how many years ago? 5?
Yeah, about 5-6 years ago. We went to the Greek place. Yep.
Wow.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Well, we love Louisiana. We don't love the politics, but we love Louisiana and the people. And I've been in 90 countries, and there's not more friendly people than Louisiana.
You're right. The people are our strength.
The people are good.
Love having you, Coach. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, Corey. Take care.
You too. The legendary Dale Brown. Don't move.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Hey guys, it's Frank Smith from LasVegasGambling.com with your weekend 5-star lock of the week. Lock of the week. Lock of the week. Take the Lakers and the points over the Clippers. Sell the house, sell the boat, sell your children. Send grandma away and take the money. Put everything you've got on this 5-star selection. It's the Lakers over the Clippers. And we've also got a fantastic 5-star parlay as well. Call us now, 888-555-7777. It's Frank Smith, a.k.a. The Hammer, from LasVegasGambling.com. Do it now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hassenbemp Incorporated.
Wait, I thought my show was canceled and it was going to be Happy Days, then Laverne and Shirley taking my place. But apparently it's going to just be strictly Laverne and Shirley. Yes, for the next hour. Back-to-back episodes. Going back 40 plus years to the early 80s. It's Laverne and Shirley. All right, not really. Mr. Drew Brees, please. Live from La Jolla. Drew Brees, number 9. Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us. Boy, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. We started things off right away, about a few minutes after 4. Ghassan Korban joined us from the Sewage and Water Board. Some inclement weather expected to roll through New Orleans, through the area. I think more severe on the North Shore than the South Shore, probably around 8 p.m. It's a fast-moving storm. Could see a little bit of water and a lot of wind. But it should be in and out of here, like maybe starting at 8, out of here before midnight. Tomorrow, maybe a little cloudy when you wake up before lunch. Those clouds should burn off and really should be a nice sunny day. Temps in the 40s when we wake up in New Orleans for about the next 5 days. You North Shore folks could be high 30s. And then mostly just getting up into the 50s. So a little wintry mix rolling in tonight, a little coolio front and some regular winter weather, at least through Saturday. Mosquito killing weather, huh? We need it. Hey, Fausto's just opened their doors on Vets for the evening. They'll roll for the next 4 hours till 9 p.m. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian can be found at Fausto's Italian Bistro. Chicken, veal, fish, all your favorites. Everything fresh, homemade, authentic recipes from decades and decades old. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Be there tonight for dinner. Hey, tomorrow, New Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams will join us on the program. The courts are shutting down jury trials for the next 2 months in New Orleans. It's mind-boggling. I know it's Mardi Gras season, but this revolving door, these woke judges and magistrates with this mentality of criminal first, citizen second, don't have time to shut down courts for a couple of months. We'll get Jason Williams' take on that and a whole lot more tomorrow on the program. Hey, also, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, Dale Brown, the legendary coach, humanitarian, he joined us for about 40 minutes, and it went by like in 4 minutes. I think you'll enjoy it. You can check it out on YouTube right now. You can check it out on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify in just a little while. Dale Brown, former LSU coach, joining us on the program. I could have gone on for 2 more hours with the coach at that same pace, just going. Just incredible coach, incredible memories. Hey, speaking of LSU, this North Shore girl from Madisonville, just beyond tragic, just sickening. LSU student Madison Brooks, just 19 years old, a sophomore. Reggie's Bar has their liquor license suspended. They are supposedly fully cooperating with authorities. But Madison Brooks was apparently raped by several men. And then they kind of just let her go, and walking home, she got hit by a car and killed. 4 people have been arrested. I say men. 3 men and a 17-year-old. The 17-year-old, because he's a juvenile, his name not released, but Kayvon Washington's 18, Kaysen Carver's 18, and Everett Lee is 28. What is Everett Lee at age 28 doing at a Tigerland bar? I don't get that, but just a tragic story. Keep your thoughts and prayers out there for Madison Brooks' family and friends from Madisonville, right over there on the North Shore, Metro New Orleans. No, just beyond a terrible story. Just awful, sickening. The Pels are at it tonight at the Smoothie King Center at the Blender. Yeah, trying to come up with something positive, huh? Trying to spin it another way. No, just that story. It's just, I was going to get into it with Coach Brown, but we ran out of time, plus a lot of other stuff we wanted to talk about, but just awful. No, the Nuggets are in town. They're about as good as it gets in the NBA. When you have like 2 or 3 all-stars, you can really make a run. And the Nuggets have that. The Pels have that. CJ McCollum, Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, just having trouble keeping everybody healthy. Maybe we'll see Brandon Ingram tonight. I don't know for sure, but I believe he is back practicing finally. And that's a super blessing. Hey, I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open, 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. The Freedom Riders, those 3 kids that went to Mississippi to help black folks register to vote. How did the feds find out where the Freedom Riders were buried after they were murdered? How did the feds find out where they were buried? Give me the answer to that. I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. Where were the 3 Freedom Riders found? Where were they found? Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. Which town or city in Mississippi did this tragic event take place? 504-766-9480. And can you name one of the 3 Freedom Riders that perished at the hands of these racist KKK law enforcement? Just a sick group in Mississippi. And in the South in general. Can you name one of the 3? Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. 766-9480. I got 4 questions, 4 different answers. 4 different folks out there can get 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse. 4 locations: Mid-City, New Orleans, Metairie near North Kenner, Slidell, soon coming to Mandeville, a second North Shore location, and they're rolling in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana. How did the feds find out where the Freedom Riders were buried? Where were the Freedom Riders found? Where were they buried? Which town or city in Mississippi did this take place? And name one of the 3 Freedom Riders. Hey, no cheating, no intranet device, no search engines, no Google, no DuckDuckGo, no Bing, no Yahoo. You either know the answer or you don't. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. Each and every year, Mardi Gras rolls around, and for the last few years, I've been pounding this message: quality over quantity. Let's stop. Just make it illegal. Make it prohibitive. You know, can't happen in Orleans and Jefferson Parish Mardi Gras. Nothing at all from China. 0 from China. No trinkets, no junk, no garbage from China. I can make my own used tea bags and eggshells and garbage, coffee grinds. That's what it is. It's crap. It's garbage. It's junk. There's a handful of people in China that are multimillionaires because of New Orleans Mardi Gras. And the local trinket shops that I'm sure would lobby against this, they'll sell the new items, quality over quantity. Things we can actually use in real life. Not this plastic junk that we throw away right after the parade. It is a farce, a joke. Let's think through it and do better. Change Mardi Gras for the better. In a few minutes, Kevin Ferguson from New Orleans and Company is going to join us. They're kind of thinking the same way, talking about recycling Mardi Gras, their campaign. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. Ricky joins us on the Causeway Bridge. How you doing, Ricky?
Good and yourself. Good and yourself.
Ricky, do you need the number at Trey Yen for a to-go order?
Eat there once a week, but nothing tonight.
I'm with you. I'm the same. I'm there once a week. What you got for us, Ricky?
The feds hired a guy by the name of Greg Scarpa, who was a mafia member. He went down there and threatened I think the guy was one of the sheriffs or deputies, and he gave up the information on where the guys were buried.
Ricky, that's amazing. Hang on, going to get some info from you. I'd like you to hang on and explain it on the other side. Don't move, New Orleans.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday. Dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
I was joking with Ricky on the Causeway. He's like me, goes to Trey Inn about once a week. If you're on the Causeway right now, it's going to be some inclement weather. Order a to-go order right now, curbside delivery. You pull up under the roof. You don't even get wet. They walk it out to your car. You don't have to leave the vehicle. The number at Trey Inn is 985, that North Shore area code, 626-4476. 626-4476. Order a big to-go order from Trey Inn in Mandeville. Mom, Dad, the kids, no one's going to be complaining about that. Don't forget the Tong Cho sauce. 626-4476. Curbside pickup. You don't even leave the car, under the cover, out of the rain. Trey Inn in Mandeville. So good. How about the big brain on Ricky on the Causeway? I didn't know this story until maybe the last few weeks, last month or so. But the feds were frustrated. They were down in Mississippi trying to find out where these 3 missing Freedom Riders were, where they were buried, just where they were. And we're getting nowhere. National Guard, military troops, dozens and dozens of FBI agents just relentlessly trying to get any information. And these KKK, law enforcement, part of the KKK, these sick, racist Mississippi folks just united. No one talking. No way to get anything out of them. No way to interrogate them. The feds finally were so frustrated, and the evil that they were, encountering, that there was no way to get these folks to talk. They had hit a wall and were not getting over it. And then they realized their mob connections, their mafia connections, and how they get people to talk. And obviously not legal, but the feds were like, I think the evil that these Mississippi people have done to these 3 Freedom Riders, that evil is much worse than this evil we're going to do, befriending the mafia and using them. And it was easy to convince the mafia. The KKK hated blacks, hated Jews, hated Catholics. The mafia, they're Catholics. And the mafia folks, in some kind of weird way, very pro-America. They didn't like that Nazi mentality. They didn't like the KKK. And as Ricky on the Causeway said, this mafia guy, Scarpo, and maybe a couple of his, soldiers, they went down to Mississippi, grabbed at least 1, if not 2 of these KKK and or law enforcement folks. And after apparently beating them severely, finally a gun in the mouth of one of them. All right, I'm going to pull it out. You either talk or I'm putting it back in and shooting it. And that guy, literally peeing in his pants, just started singing like a bird. And the very next day, the Freedom Riders, where they were located, all of that was known. The mafia helped solve that problem. The feds went in that direction. What an amazing part of American history. I've got a few $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates available. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. How did the feds find out about the Freedom Riders? Ricky just told you. The mob questioned the KKK guys. Where were the 3 Freedom Riders found? Which town or city in Mississippi did this tragedy take place in? Name me one of the 3 Freedom Riders. 3 questions left. 3 $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates left. Rouse's Markets phone lines 504-766-9480. Hey, as I said a few minutes ago, another Mardi Gras season and another year of me pounding this out there. Let's ban Chinese throws, nothing from China. Let's ban all plastic throws. Let's go with quality over quantity. Quit throwing garbage and junk. Let's throw something you can use. Those Rex stainless steel tumblers, those cups, those are great. You know, I like when I get like some wooden spoons that I can use in the kitchen, maybe a mitten or hot pot pad to grab a pot in the kitchen. How about dish towels or washcloths or beach towels or towels you can use with the, you know, Mardi Gras Cruise logo on them, their design. I'm just scratching the surface. There's a great way to change Mardi Gras for the better, throwing items we can actually use, not junk plastic crap from China that we throw away. New Orleans and companies sort of moving in that direction. I like this Recycle Mardi Gras campaign. Kevin Ferguson joins us from New Orleans and Company. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing great, Corey. Thank you for having me.
Hey, fill us in on this Recycle Mardi Gras campaign. Recycle Dat.
There you go. Recycle Dat. So this is a new initiative. It's a collaboration of really a lot of local organizations and nonprofits. The city had reached out about us supporting it. And so we kind of came on board in a big way to sponsor this and work with them and partner on this activation this year. This isn't the first year that we've had recycling on the parade route, but I think what they envisioned was really growing it beyond what they had done in the past. So what you're going to see is on the actual St. Charles parade route, particularly between Napoleon and Poydras, there'll be a few different recycling hubs, 5 of them set up to accept aluminum cans, beads, and glass on the parade route. And then between Napoleon and Louisiana, there's going to be an enhanced presence of canisters to get aluminum cans off the street as well.
Nice. Yeah. Empty the can, then put it in the recycling bin, people. Do it right. These folks are bending over backwards to do the right thing. So let's not abuse it and put your trash in there and other things. What a great idea, Kevin. Who came up with this?
Well, so last year, the Aluminum Can Manufacturers Institute had worked with a few groups locally, including some folks from the city, to do a few stations closer to that kind of Napoleon, St. Charles hub. Obviously, there's a lot of families there. And so this year, the conversation was really around expanding that. So New Orleans and Company was happy to partner with the city. Grounds Crew, which is a local initiative that focuses on more sustainable Mardi Gras throws, as well as recycling, is also a partner in that. The Can Manufacturers Institute. And then there's a few other nonprofits, ARC, GNO, obviously on the bead recycling, that are involved as well. So it's really a collaboration of a lot of different groups coming together. If you go to the city's website, you'll see on that page, I think they've got a list of 20 that are involved in some way, from providing support, being a location, providing volunteers. So really there's a number of groups coming together for this. And I think one of the things that we're excited about, as folks know, there's a value to aluminum cans.
Yep.
And so all the cans that are collected are going to be redeemed at EMR Metal Recycling in Mid-City. And those funds are going to go to 3 local causes, the Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana, Louisiana SPCA, and the New Orleans Area Habitat for Humanity. So not only will we get those cans out of our streets and off the neutral ground, but that money will actually go to a good cause. And obviously folks, I hope, are familiar with ARC's Mardi Gras bead recycling. That money goes to support their programs. They resell those beads every year. So there's a lot of great causes that are going to benefit from this. And it's a good way to keep the city cleaner and to make Mardi Gras more sustainable.
Kevin, I hope you, Mark, the crew over at New Orleans and Company, I mean, no offense, I mean this in the best way. The city gives a couple of $1 million to the Louisiana SPCA right now. I think if we called them right now, no one would answer. Check out the Humane Society of Louisiana. Toss them a little bone, no pun intended. These guys are proactive. They really do a lot of great work. I don't mean to dog the SPCA, but Humane Society of Louisiana, look into that. Now, hey, Kevin, on another note, I got to imagine that in North America, this has to be the number one event, maybe on the planet, where you can collect aluminum cans. I can't even think of anything that could come close. We're talking a few weeks of Mardi Gras, beer, soft drinks. I mean, just it's wine. It's insane. It has to be the number one aluminum can event in the country. And I'm talking about folks using them and this collection thing you guys are talking about doing. I can't think of anything that would even come close.
I think to your point, there's a real opportunity there, right? You know, it's funny. I grew up here, been going to parades a long time. I've been riding for 10 years in Toth. And
wow,
you know, the opportunity to make Mardi Gras more sustainable, you know, think about the cleanup you see at the end of every parade, right? And I've got friends that have come from out of town, and to them, that's one of the most amazing parts of it.
Yeah.
But we know that all of that stuff ends up in the trash.
Yep.
In the landfill.
Yep.
In our catch basins. We did a community service project earlier this year when we were down around Harmony Circle, you know, cleaning up the streets, picking up trash. And this was probably in March or April. And the amount of beads and broken beads and, you know, pieces of things left over from Mardi Gras that were still on the street was really depressing. And so I think this is a great opportunity for us. You talk about the aluminum cans, but even keeping those beads, getting those into recycling bins for ARC and out of the catch basins and off the street and out of our sidewalk cracks. That's a big win for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Enough with the plastic. We got to keep plastic focused on things that it's really needed, you know, things that, not luxury items, especially things like, you know, that we could replace it with something else. Now that's brilliant. The plastic beads and the aluminum cans, just a great idea.
And
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I'll add this too. You know, I think this is a start, right? But that we know the impact that this will have will be felt. But there's a broader movement that's growing, I think, among locals, among businesses, even amongst crews. I mean, you were talking earlier, I was listening to you about the throwing the things that people want. You know, I've watched kind of over the 10 years I've been riding, people are less interested in beads. If they catch them, great. If they hit the ground, they're not picking them up.
Yep,
right? And
exactly.
I think most crews know this. If I look at my catalog of things I could order from Tote this year, there were probably more goods that you were giving out, you know, things like playing cards and beach bags, coin purses, things that people are going to take home and keep off the street.
And use.
Yeah. And I give a lot of credit. I know you mentioned Rex. Muses is another one. Iris, I think that we're really ahead of the time, trying to include things that people want to keep. I think I've got a Muse flask somewhere in my liquor cabinet, little plastic ones that they threw out. And then Grounds Crew, which is one of the partners in this activation, they're really kind of leading a charge to encourage people to buy reusable, sustainable Louisiana-made products. And so I think we're all interested in the future, seeing Mardi Gras move more in that direction.
I love hearing all that, Kevin. Any final thoughts about Recycle Dat?
I think it's a great thing for our residents. You know, one of the things we talk about a lot, you know, we work in tourism, but we firmly believe that a city that's better for its residents is better for its visitors, right? And I think we approach this in that same way. Mardi Gras is something that at its core is a local New Orleans tradition. We know that it has appeal worldwide. So when we looked at this initiative, we saw this as an opportunity to really take advantage of our best resource here, the people of New Orleans, their care for the city, their desire to see Mardi Gras be more sustainable. And that's the start of all this. And we know that from that, it will benefit our visitors too. But this is just an incredible thing to bring to our city, and we're excited to be a part of it.
Kevin, I don't mean to correct you, but it's Thoth. It's pronounced Thoth. I'm joking.
Every time I have to tell friends from out of state or family before they got familiar, that was, that's Thoth.
Yeah. I'm glad you're in Toth. That's a great crew. Have a great ride, and congratulations on the Recycle Dat, New Orleans and Company. It's a brilliant idea.
Well, thank you so much, Corey, and thank you for having me on here today.
No, pleasure. Thank you. That's Kevin Ferguson from New Orleans and Company. Recycle Dat. Yeah, look for that. A lot between Napoleon and Louisiana, a big emphasis there, like it should be. And then Napoleon all the way to Poydras. Napoleon down St. Charles all the way to Poydras. That's like the majority of the route. Yeah, seek out those recycling bins for aluminum and Mardi Gras beads. Pick up the beads that you see on the ground and put them in that plastic recycling bin for beads. No, a brilliant idea. And I love hearing the, sustainable stuff you can use, Louisiana made. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This China thing is a joke. It's a nightmare. It's worthless junk. They laugh at us. And don't feel for the bead distributors. They'll get the new stuff and distribute that. They'll be fine. We're just cutting China out of the picture, and these multimillionaires, these men in China that have, made millions off of New Orleans Mardi Gras. No, and selling junk, selling crap, selling garbage. No, we should do a lot better than that. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, you right. Every day this program on radio, on television, on YouTube, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex, the big boy, the bad boy in Kenner on the car corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10 in Kenner, brah, right on the corner, right on the price. For nearly 50 years, the big store, Lamarck Ford, #1 in the region. Lamarck Lincoln, #1 in the region. What would you expect? Anything less from Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Park? And if $50 million plus invested on the car corner, those 15 acres wasn't enough, Ronnie beelines across the parish and scoops up legendary Crescent City Ford, the Ford truck dealership. It's now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Now, the only vehicle Ford makes car is the Mustang. Every other Ford vehicle is an SUV or a truck. That means Lamarck Crescent City Ford is a full-blown Ford dealership. You want a Mustang, you go to Kenner. Everything else that you get at the big store, that you get at the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner, you can get at Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Harahan in Elmwood on Jefferson Highway. And that includes full-blown service for your Ford vehicle. Yeah, taken care of you, bridging the gap out by the lake, the Lamarck Automotive Complex, and now out by the river, Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Yeah, Ronnie does not slow down. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. A Tuesday afternoon, Corey Johnson with you. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. Ghassan Korban joined us from the Sewage and Water Board, telling us what's going on with the pumps. You can check that out on YouTube and in a few minutes on Anchor, iTunes, and Spotify. That was right when we started the 4 o'clock hour, about 4:08. Around 4:20, a good 40 minutes that went by like it was 4 minutes. Legendary Dale Brown joined us from Baton Rouge, from Tiger Town. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed the hell out of that conversation. Dale Brown is amazing. Hey, tomorrow, New Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams will join us. Hey, I got a trio now of $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates talking about the Freedom Riders. The trio that came down from the north to register black voters in Mississippi and were murdered. How did the feds find out where the Freedom Riders were, where they were buried, what happened to them? These KKK folks and even sheriff, law enforcement that were part of the KKK, they were tight, they were unified, they weren't talking. The feds went to the mafia, Italian Catholics. The KKK hates Catholics like they hate blacks and Jews. And the mafia is pro-America. They don't like that Nazi mentality. It was easy to convince a few of them, and I think led by Scarpo, as Ricky on the Causeway correctly answered. A mafia leader, Scarpo, and a couple of his soldiers went down there and captured a couple of these idiots. Beat them pretty good. And then finally, when they weren't talking, stuck a gun in one of the guys' mouths and said, I'm going to pull it out and you tell me what's going on with these Freedom Riders. If I don't hear from you, I'm going to stick this gun in your mouth and shoot you and kill you. And then that guy peed in his pants and sung like a bird, and the rest is history. Amazing. The American mafia helping the feds, the FBI, solve the Freedom Riders dilemma. The next day, they had their answer. It was announced publicly. Not that the mob helped out. Really interesting. I got a trio of questions. Where were the 3 Freedom Riders found? Where were they buried? Where were they found? Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse. A $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate can be yours. Rouse's Markets phone lines 504-766-9480. 766-9480. Which city or town in Mississippi did this tragedy take place? 766-9480. And can you name one of the 3? A last name's good enough. A first name's good enough. One of the 3 Freedom Riders. Rouse's Markets phone line 766-9480. Hey, no cheating, no internet device, no Google, no Yahoo. You either know the answer or you don't. Hey, speaking of Rouse's, it's Mardi Gras time. Rouse's king cakes aren't good. They're not very good. They're excellent. Like king cake quality you get from a bakery, not from a grocery store. You walk into any of the 60-plus Rouse's, and right away you get whiffs of that cinnamon dough, baking away at those Rouse's. Every store making king cakes. Right when you walk in, you can see maybe 100 of them or more on the table right in front of you. They even sell individual pieces, about 20 different king cakes to choose from, including a bunch of cream-filled. I'm old school. I just like the plain Jane, the cinnamon dough with the icing, absolutely fantastic. And I love getting just the single pieces or 2 if I don't want to knock out the whole king cake. Rouse's Markets, it's Mardi Gras. Some of the best king cakes you'll get anywhere. Best quality, best price, best selection. Rouse's Market.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top Benchmore exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For years, you've been hearing about the virtues of Springfield Wellness Center and their successful treatment of over 1,000 individuals who overcame their substance addiction. Now it's your turn. Here's Springfield's Dr. Richard Medier.
For over 20 years, we've successfully treated patients with substance abuse issues and have also had success with patients suffering from chronic stress, depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. We uniquely address restorative issues at the cellular level that impact mental health. We treat our patients with an intravenous nutritional supplement that helps restore various brain functions. Most of our patients have greatly reduced withdrawal symptoms. We work toward maximizing nutritional interventions while utilizing traditional medication interventions when needed. Our treatment works toward restoring the brain's health while returning the patient to a normal, dependent-free life.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center now, 504-291-2800. That's 291-2800.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Yeah, you, right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program. Each and every day you can check us out on the radio. Oh So Fine, 93.9 FM. Oh So Fine, 93.9 FM. Stick to that station. I know in some parts of the city the signal isn't fantastic, but I promise you it's soon going to be. 93.9. Stick with it. Some nice changes coming. You can also check us out starting at 4 p.m. weekdays. New Orleans own 107.9, 600 a.m. We're on TV every day, if you didn't know. 90 minutes of the 2 hours, 4 to 5:30, all over Louisiana. If you subscribe to Cox Television, Cox Channel 4, Yorview, Louisiana, weekdays 4 to 5:30. If you're a Charter Television subscriber, anywhere in Louisiana, Spectrum Channel 333, 4 to 5:30 weekdays. That's Cox Channel 4. That's Spectrum Channel 333. Live streaming, audio and video live streaming at CoreyTalks.com. Corey spelled Kaare. You can also email us, Corey@CoreyTalks.com. And yeah, we're on YouTube live every day. You can check out yesterday's program, last week, last month. You can check out the last hour right now. Had a great chat with Dale Brown for about 40 minutes in the 4 o'clock hour. Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, lots of ways to check out the program. Tomorrow, New Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams will join us live on the program. Hey, some inclement weather expected to roll in around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight. It's a fast-moving storm, but some severe rain and a lot of wind expected our way, more so on the North Shore than the South Shore. And then temperatures over the next 5 days, waking up in the 40s, and maybe a few days on the North Shore, you might wake up and it's high 30s, and then we'll only creep into like the mid-50s. That's for like the next 5 days, 40s and 50s. A Coolio front rolling through. We need it. I got bit by a mosquito that snuck in my house just the other day. When we hit an all-time record high of 81 last week, you're going to get some mosquitoes flying around. Now they'll all be done with this cold snap, exactly what the doctor ordered. But be careful. Be careful. Lots of rain and wind expected tonight, maybe between 8 and 9 o'clock and midnight-ish, something like that. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, like I said, high 40s and a little cloudy. And then mid-morning, the clouds should burn off. And then by lunchtime, afternoon should just be zero clouds, totally sunny day, 50-ish degrees or so. So tomorrow is going to be really, really nice. Next 5 days look really, really nice. We need it. We need it. Now, Ghassan Korban joined us from the Sewage and Water Board right when we started the show at 4 o'clock. Feels very confident. Going on turbine power, not energy, can always fall back to energy. Most of the pumps, 90+% are all working. There's actually a little confidence. You know, I mentioned this after he was on the show and gone, not listening on hold. You know, you got to give credit where credit's due, and there are very, very, very few things you can actually give LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell credit for. I mentioned one the other day where she's like, oh, everybody's got to be on the same page, y'all. You know, they talk about crime and law enforcement, and everybody's not on the same page. The NOPD are heroes. The DA's moving in the right direction. He'll join us tomorrow on the show. These hyper woke judges and magistrates with this criminal first, citizen second mentality, these somebody committing a violent crime, resisting arrest, illegal firearm, bail or bond set at $3,500. They come up with $350. They're back out on the street. Just ridiculous. These aren't judges or magistrates. These are folks failing at what they do, contributing to New Orleans crime problem. Blood on their hands. Blood on their hands. You got to do better. You're supposed to be a judge. You're supposed to be, you know, this literally a judge. You're judging. Do a better job with your judgment, because it's awful right now, this criminal first, citizen second mentality. Angel Harris, Google her and go to her website. It's obnoxious. It was when she was running. It's all about criminals and too many people jail. We got to let them out and all this stuff. What about citizens and this crime, violent crime city we live in? Focus on that. That first. I'm not for petty crimes, criminals, speeding ticket, joint, crap like that. We don't have time for that. These rural sheriffs in Louisiana that are millionaires because of our pay-to-play jail system, that's sinful. It's pathetic. I mean, Louisiana incarcerates more people per capita than almost anywhere in the world. And it's not China or North Korea that incarcerates more per capita. Louisiana and like Oklahoma battle out for most incarcerated per capita in the world. There's just something wrong with that. It's broken. No, Kaare got a lot of criminals. They need to be in jail. No, there's a bunch of people in jail just because of BS, nonsense. Racial profiling, speeding ticket, didn't pay. You know, hey, commit the crime, do the time. It's nonsense. It's stupid. People that say that can't relate to a lot of these folks on the lower economics, you know, scale that they can't miss work. They miss work, they don't get paid. They have to be there. They go to work when they're sick or when they have a broken arm or broken leg or whatever. They hobble around, go to work because they can't afford to miss it. They get fired, they lose their job. Someone going to jail because they can't afford to pay court costs or something like that, or a speeding ticket. That is a waste of our time. A waste of our time. Get them to do community service on the weekend when they're not working, clean up trash, something productive. So no, I'm not in denial. It's not one way or the other. Jail everyone, let everyone out. It's a balance. but citizens first, violent criminals in jail. And yeah, I agree. These petty crimes and people in jail for the wrong reasons or for silly minor misdemeanor type things. No, that is, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. It'd be like the NOPD pulling somebody over for doing 40 and a 35 and writing a ticket. We don't have time for that. Don't have time for that. Boy, we desperately need civilians doing a lot of the work that the NOPD would normally be doing. The NOPD need to be policing, not dealing with folks with mental health issues or speeders or things like that. People throwing litter, no one's worrying about that. They should be. No, it's pretty simple. Boy, what a sad and tragic story up in Baton Rouge at LSU. Madison Brooks from Madisonville, Metro New Orleans, the North Shore, just 19 years old, raped apparently by several men and then left to leave and go home by herself. She gets hit by a car and killed. I don't know if it was the men that were arrested for the rape that also killed her in the car, but Kayvon Washington, 18, Kaysen Carver, 18, Everett Lee is 28. Well, what is a 28-year-old doing at Tigerland Bars in Baton Rouge near the LSU campus? 28? And then a 17-year-old who's a juvenile, his name not released. Just terrible. Just terrible. Hard to believe. Keep Madison Brooks' family, friends in your thoughts and prayers. Just beyond sad and tragic. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning, a New Orleans institution since 1940. You know, they have a restoration department at Young's. They've got a hall runner, you know, those long runners for the hallway. They got one of mine right now. Blue Boy's 20 years old. Just a little bit of pee-pee came out one day. I said, I got to clean that carpet. I got to clean that rug. Rolled it up, brought it to Young's over there on Claiborne's. They would have come and picked it up, free pickup and delivery. But I'm like, guys, focus in on your regular customers. I can go to the Claiborne location and drop it off, and Troy will come grab it. And that's what I did. Walk-up locations, free pickup and delivery, though. Free pickup and delivery, though. They'll come to your house and take the drapes off the hooks, bring them to their facility, get them clean to like new, and rehang them. The taking them off the hooks, rehanging them. The free pickup and delivery is exactly that, free. All you pay for is the restoration service. Find out more at youngsdrycleaning.com, youngsdrycleaning.com. Pels are going at it in just a few minutes, about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes away. The Pels are at Da Blenda, the Smoothie King Center. No, it's a good basketball night. The Nuggets and Pels, 7 o'clock. And coming up in a few minutes, LSU and Arkansas, struggling LSU. Matt McMahon didn't have a player on the roster in April. Not a player. Not a scholarship player. He brought in 3 recruits, 3 transfers from where he used to coach, 3 transfers from other colleges, and talked 3 LSU players to come back that were in the transfer portal. And then a few walk-on players like that Edwards kid that's a fan favorite. They're taking on Arkansas, kind of a must-win game for struggling 12-7 LSU. I think they're on a 5-game losing streak right now. Got blown out by like 40 by Alabama. Alabama's number 2 in the land right now, but got blown out by 40. Arkansas is 13-6. LSU's 12-7. That's going to go down in a few minutes on Deduce, ESPN2. And yeah, coming up in a few minutes, the Nuggets and Pels at 7 o'clock. That's on, what is it, Bally Sports, Old Fox, New Orleans. 38 on Cox. And you can check it out on the radio, WRNO, 99.5 FM. Todd Graffanini does an absolutely fantastic job as the play-by-play voice of the Pelicans. Speaking of a fantastic job, Engagement rings, there's really only one place. Go see Ken Friend at Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street, in between Broadway and Carrollton, the Riverbend Carrollton neighborhood of Uptown, on Maple Street. What is it? I think in between Hillary or maybe Adams and Cherokee, right there. Literally right in between Broadway and Carrollton on Maple Street. New Orleanians that know Friend and Company Fine Jewelers when it comes to engagement rings. And always real natural diamonds that are 1 billion years old, something special. These so-called diamond stores with these 3-week-old man-made diamonds. Here's a big difference. The real diamonds that are 1 billion years old, natural diamonds, they appreciate. There's a limited source. It's an investment that goes up in value every year. The man-made 3-week-old diamonds, they depreciate every minute, every hour, every day, and at an accelerated rate because the market's getting flooded by them. Engagement ring, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street. What's that, Blue Boy? Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple. You don't miss a beat, Blue Boy. Corey Johnson with you. I'll see you tomorrow with DA Jason Williams at 4.